My name is Kimberly Mizrahi, and I am a data analyst. Today I will be sharing my data-driven insights for the US Medical Staffing Agency. My analysis will help the agency plan for staffing needs during the influenza season, a time when influenza cases surge and vulnerable populations face serious complications. In order to manage the increased patient load during influenza season, hospitals rely on a medical staffing agency to provide temporary staff. I've examined trends of influenza from 2009 to 2017, with data provided by the Center for Disease Control as well as the US Census Bureau. I will begin by sharing the historical data, and then I will discuss the populations most at risk, where these populations exist, and when they are most likely to suffer from influenza. Between 2009 and 2017, influenza claimed an average of 67,715 lives each year. This analysis is crucial for reducing the number of influenza-related deaths in the future. But how can this be achieved? To answer this question, I posed another. Who do these deaths refer to? To gain a deeper understanding of the annual deaths, I examined the ages of the deceased and found nearly 2/3 were 65 years or older. This age group I will refer to as the vulnerable population. This insight led to the hypothesis: vulnerable populations are more likely to die from the flu. Now, having an understanding of who is at risk, we need to identify where these populations live. Using the US Census data, I identified these vulnerable populations across the country and discovered that the largest concentrations are in California, Florida, New York, Texas, and Pennsylvania. Interestingly, these states also record the highest numbers of influenza deaths. Now that we've identified who is most at risk and where they reside, the next question arises: when will they be at risk? This chart shows the average deaths by month from the years 2009 to 2017. Based on the historical data, influenza is seasonal. It begins in November and ends in March, with January being the worst month for influenza-related deaths. Now we've identified the vulnerable populations, the top 5 states for those populations, and when influenza season occurs, now we can plan staffing needs accordingly. Adults 65 years and older are most vulnerable to influenza-related death. California, New York, Texas, Pennsylvania, and Florida historically have the highest death rates from influenza and the largest population of adults 65 years and older. Influenza is seasonal and generally begins in November and lasts through March. Recommendations: additional medical staff should be scheduled to be sent to the highest need states at the beginning of November. Any remaining medical staff should be sent to states based on their priority. Use the map to the right to identify all of the priority levels using the colors below. For example, the high priority, which is this bright red. Here, this state we can see is bright red, which is California, which is one of the top 5 for largest vulnerable populations. This is Wyoming, which it has a lower color, lower priority, because it has a lower population of vulnerable ages. Thank you for your time. Please be sure to check the video notes for the data limitations.